All right, DStyleBoxing here. Thanks to those joining me live and to those who'll be joining me on archive. If you like the video, go ahead and click the thumbs up. And if you don't, click the thumbs down. It's all good. Check it out. All right, check this out. All right, look. Um, Best of the best. Okay, the best of the best movies. The first one is one of my favorite martial arts movies ever. I love that movie. Right. Probably because it's nostalgia. I was a kid when I watched it. I love that movie. All right, just everything about it. It's a great movie. Right. I haven't watched it in like 4 or 5 years or something, but I really, 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 really like that movie a lot. Okay. Another movie that I like is part two, and not as much as part one, but Baracus and the no holds barred shit, and there are no rules and all this shit, and what was it? His name Travis that dies or something like that. Not as good as the first one in my opinion, but watchable. Like, it's still watchable. You still had characters from the first movie, and I really liked it. Right. Part three was this was not what I expected at all. Actually, the movie was called it's Best of the Best Part Three. No turning back. Right. So I'm thinking like, all right, cool. You know. And I see that the character Tommy Lee's in the movie, and I'm like, all right, let's get some martial arts going, right? So I'm like, the beginning of the movie happened, and it's like not quite what I expected at all. Like, not quite what I expected at all. Like, it's just, and one thing I don't like reading reviews or the plot of a movie. Like, I don't like doing that. I like to just watch a movie, And so I'm watching this, and I'm thinking. At first, I thought I was watching the wrong movie. I'm like, I must have clicked because I was watching on demand, okay, on my disc receiver, and I'm like, did I click on the wrong movie? Like, what the hell's going on here, right? It might be a good movie, I don't know, but it's a movie about like white supremacists and shit, like burning crosses, and they kill a black preacher, and they're burning a black church. I'm just thinking to myself that I think I clicked on the wrong movie. Right? Or I'm thinking, or maybe they got it all wrong. I was ready to call. But like, you guys are downloading the wrong movies here. But then I actually saw Tommy Lee walking down the street for just walking down the road. Like, it's kind of odd, okay? And he walks into a bar and he runs into the white supremacist. Something, and well, this is the movie, all right? And actually, I read the plot really quick. I'm like, well, it is the movie. Like, what the hell's going on? Like, what? So I'm like, all right, well, fuck it, let's go with it, right? This movie was, I think, in 94, 95 when this movie was released. Definitely, no wonder I never ran into this movie. But anyway, a lot of stuff just over the top. I mean, just over the top shit. But basically, it was a white supremacist group that was trying to take over a small town, right? And Tommy Lee. At first, I didn't even know why he was there. I'm like, why is he just wandering in the middle of a town? Like, he didn't show up in a bus or something. He just randomly was walking down the road. Like, it's kind of random. It's still funny watching old movies when they're like, it's the funniest part was when he walks into a diner and he asks the waitress, like, do you have a payphone? And she says, it's right there. It's literally right in front of him. Like, the payphone was like 3 feet away from him when he asked, facing his direction. So anyway, he calls somebody in the payphone. Definitely for a lot of you young kids, and I'm not that old myself. I'm 33, but it's a lot of old movies. You're gonna use payphones. Anyway, he runs into these white supremacists already. Foreshadowing what's happening here. So it was going to be this Korean dude beating up white supremacists for the whole movie, I figured. That's basically what it was, all right? And so he went over to visit his sister, and his sister's husband is the sheriff of the town, right? And they're investigating a killing of a black preacher that occurred, and burning of a black church. And it's kind of like everybody's acting like they don't know who did it when it's like obvious, because there's like this very covert racist group trying to take over the town. Like, it's one of those, like, and the sheriff keeps telling them, like, we got to do this by the book, we're really working on this investigation. It's like, what is it to investigate, bro? Like, it's pretty obvious. They're making it very obvious. They're not hiding it here. And there's a really very wealthy dude who's trying to separate the races, and he wants it to be an all-white town, and basically arguing that he's trying to protect the rights of white people. That's basically his argument. And there's another white character who's the son of the waitress. She's having a hard time, trying to. I believe it's her mother and his grandmother, who he's just trying to, make a living. He's refusing to work because he's a fucking lazy ass, and he finds, comfort, being with this blatant white supremacist group. I mean, that's basically what it is. Anyway, he joins them, and he has this whole ceremony where they shave his head and blah 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 blah. So right now I'm thinking to myself, wow, this is a whole different, thing here. They're handing, like the sheriff's doing an investigation. Like, these guys literally, they were in a a carnival, right? Handing out to like white kids. They were handing out these forms that said white power on it and join the movement or some shit like that. Like, it's not like this was hard to figure out, like, what was going on. All right. He fights them there. I think that they tried to assault some woman that was telling him not to pass those papers around. So he beat up a couple of them there, and then everybody's just watching. Hilarious scene, hilarious. So first of all, the white supremacist guy is handing out, these forms, right? He's handing out like white supremacist forms to little kids, right? She first discovers it, and she ends up being one of the main protagonists in the movie, but I forgot her name in the movie. She's been in several movies herself. You can check it out. But anyway, I forgot the actress's name. She sees a black kid like staring at this paper, like just staring at it. And this happens to be the son of the preacher that disappeared, right? That they're trying to investigate what's going on. She gets his paper. She gets a paper. She sees white supremacists on it, join the movement, whatever. And she starts taking the papers away from all these kids that are looking at it, like with such like intrigue or whatever. And then she finally finds the guy that's passing out the papers. She tells him, "Hey, don't pass those papers." And he says, "Hey, this is public property. I can do whatever I want." Blah 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 blah. Right? She takes away the papers, and I guess she slaps him, and he tries to hit her back, and then out of nowhere, dressed as a clown, because he was part of the carnival or whatever. He was dressed as a clown, but Tommy Lee stops him, right? And then starts slapping him around. Pa 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 pa. Right? And then all of a sudden, all the white supremacists like show up, like 6 or 7 of them. I swear to God, 6 or 7 of them. And I think to myself, all right, let's see what this martial arts movie's got. Okay, why is it that in martial arts movies everybody attacks one by one? Like, it's like the funniest shit, and they just stand there while one dude's getting his ass whooped. So at first they attacked one by one, then they figured out, well, that ain't gonna work, right? They kept getting back up, and then he kicked 3 dudes with 1 roundhouse kick. 3 of them, like 1 kick, pa 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 pa. Okay. 2 dudes got him from each arm. 2 grown males here, and he did like some some martial arts move and flipped them both over. They both did like a forward flip. And I don't know what it is about martial arts movies. Why do guys got to do dramatic backflips when a dude kicks them in the head? Every single time, kick in the head, backflip. It just doesn't fail. So he whoops your ass, right? And they just let him go. Like, after they get their ass whooped, they're free to go, right? All right. There's another scene where his sister's vehicle, while he's in the store, right? He goes to the store, and his sister's in the vehicle with the 2 kids, with her son and still with the little black kid, and they're all like covered in masks and shit, like the white supremacists, and they start bashing the vehicle like with baseball bats, right? Like, boom, breaking the windows, bah, slamming the top of the vehicle, boom, 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 and then Tommy Lee walks out of the store. Doesn't even realize. I don't know if you guys have been inside a store if somebody's doing something like that, you would hear that. Okay, like it's not. But he has no idea until he walks out of the store smiling, and then he notices what's happening, right? After he sees all that, like let's say he knows he's gonna whoop their ass, right? I mean, they're bashing the vehicle with two kids. Okay, his nephew's one of them, right, and his sister. And the first thing he says, in typical martial arts movie fashion, I don't want any trouble. He says, I don't want any trouble. You don't want any trouble? Like, they already started trouble. Anyway, he whoops the dude's asses with the baseball bats. He never picks up a baseball bat himself, actually. He just whoops her ass, and he lets him get back up, pick up the baseball bats again, and keep swinging at him. At first, again, they go one by one, and then they try in multiples, but he's kicking 4 dudes at a time with roundhouse kicks and, just whooping their asses. So I believe that one happened first, by the way. Broke a dude's nose, and the guy yells, "Oh, son of a bitch, broke my nose. He's going to get it now." Like, did the director say that? Hey, say that he broke your nose. Even though your nose looks broken and it's got blood coming out of it, say it out loud so the people know what happened to you. Like, what's going on here? So anyway, the movie proceeds. They have a town hall. Oh, actually, before that, so there was from the same black church that was burned down, the choir or something like that. So state champion choir, which is all black people. We're gonna go sing at this white school, right? So I'm guessing that girl was a teacher or something. But when they got there, right, I guess a white supremacist group had spray painted, the N-word, but they misspelled it. It actually spelled out Niger, okay? And what they did, recognize that, I guess that it was an old black woman said, if they're going to insult us, they better learn how to spell or something like that. I do wonder if that was, if they just spelled that wrong, and they're like, fuck it, just say that in the movie, all right? So anyway, the movie moves on. A lot of stuff. They burned a cross in the front yard of the sheriff's house. A lot of blatant bad words in this movie, by the way. Okay, the N-word turned around. The derogatory terms about Chinese people are thrown around, even though this is Korean. But by the white supremacist group. But anyway. Let's see. I'm trying to make sure I don't forget anything before I move on. So, didn't write any notes. So, basically, moving forward, they had a meeting, a town meeting, a town group or whatever. And the white supremacist group was there trying to intimidate everybody, right? And the rich white guys trying to buy off the town, and nobody's protesting whatsoever. So finally, the one woman, I guess she's a teacher, she gets up and she questions it, and then everybody starts cheering. So he doesn't get to buy off the town, right? So he storms off. He's pissed off. The white supremacist group is pissed off, right? Tommy Lee almost gets in a fight with one of the white supremacist guys outside of the what is it? A fucking courthouse? I don't know. So he's almost gonna get in a fight. The sheriff, right, tells him, his brother-in-law, hey, I gotta do this by the book. Blah 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 blah. Right? So anyway. What ends up happening is they break into that one girl's house, right? The teacher. They're about to rape her, right? But Tommy Lee shows up right on time, right when they're about to do it. He shows up and whoops all their asses, right? He does this crazy backflip. They do this a lot in martial arts movies. There's this big white dude, right? A big dude. He must be 6'6" and just bodybuilder, right? But he does a backflip. Kick when he hits him with both toes, and the dude just flipped out. He just went up in the air and just fell on the table and it broke. Right now, before that, there's this who I thought was the leader of the white supremacist group at first. He's the one that killed the black preacher with a baseball bat at the beginning of the movie. Right? He kills the rich white dude that was trying to buy off the town. Right? And it's two racists having an argument, basically. The rich white dude is well, I just want separation, not extermination. And the other, the one that took over and kills him with a knife says, before he kills him, he goes, oh, I do want extermination. or it's just something like that. So I guess he's supposed to be more racist, you know. So he kills him, and that's that. So yeah, he saves him. Then they drive over to his sister's house. Apparently, they beat up his sister. I don't know. They don't say in the movie if she was raped or not, but I mean, if they're gonna rape that teacher, I don't know why they wouldn't. So the sheriff's like, "Oh, son of a bitches," and he tells the sheriff, "Are you still gonna play by the rules, sheriff?" And the sheriff storms off, and he's ready not to play by the fucking rules, right? So they go to this compound where all the white supremacists just hang out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, they've been doing this extensive investigation, but they can't find these white supremacists apparently until they were ready to take care of business. Before I get to that, okay, he had already gone to the compound, beat up a bunch of dudes, and then kicked the dude off a motorcycle. Yes, and he got on the motorcycle himself, and then he drove off. Okay, so that happened. You gotta love that, like, you know, kicking the dude off a motorcycle, getting on it yourself, like. So at the motorcycles never go wild and shit, like, you know what I mean? It's this is great. I can't get over the roundhouse kick on 4 dudes. I can't get over that. So anyway, by the way, this is nothing like the first 2 Best of the Best movies. Nothing. All right, this is it just seems like another movie. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know. But anyway, him and the sheriff, they go to the compound because they also capture the kids, by the way. So they save the kids, and of course, more karate shit, or he's a taekwondo guy, right? He beats up a bunch of dudes. Boom, 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 kick. Okay, he beat dudes up, right? Pa pa pa. Took away their gun, and then like, he showed up with no gun. Every time you whooped somebody's ass, he just threw the gun in the floor. Like, dude, aren't you better off with a gun? Like, it's just stupid. Anyway, he finally did get a gun when a bunch of dudes were shooting at them. But the sheriff, he shoots some people. They save the 2 kids, right? They get away. They get in some truck, which, you know, it's having a hard time cranking. I mean, you would think you get a truck that doesn't have a hard time cranking. I mean, I'm just serious. He kicks off another dude off a motorcycle and gets on it. Okay, it's just, you know, just something you learn in Taekwondo, how to kick dudes off motorcycles and then taking it from them. And then, but before that happens, he runs into the leader of the whole enchilada. Right, he runs into the leader, right? The new leader, the more racist one, and they start fighting. This dude knew martial arts, right? The leader of the white supremacists knew martial arts. So he gives them a tough fight, right? You know what I mean? It's boom, boom. It's going back and forth, you know. And then he starts whooping his ass. Okay, so the white supremacist, after getting his ass whooped, pulls out a knife, right? So all of a sudden, he's trying to get him with a knife. And then they end up fighting in the middle of like where all the white supremacists are. And the white supremacists just stand there and look and watch. Right? He ends up beating the shit out of the white supremacists. He gets his knife, and he's in the ground. And the white supremacist is like the leader, right? He's like, "Kill me, do it, blah 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 blah." So then he like drops the knife right next to him. You know, he stabs the ground next to him, not him. And he says, "Hate is not the answer." And then he gets up, right? And he starts to walk away. He gets back up and he starts telling the white supremacists, "Shoot him! Shoot him," he says. And none of them do it. One of them's about to do it, but one of the white supremacists is like, "No, you're not going to do this." So he takes a gun himself from one of the white supremacists, points it at Tommy Lee. Tommy Lee's holding his knife as if the knife is going to beat a fucking gun. It's already pointing at you. That's a different story, right? And then we hear a gunshot, but he falls to the ground. And it's the kid, the one that had originally joined the white supremacist group. Okay, the one that joined the racist white supremacist group because, you know, his mom wanted him to get a job and he didn't want to get a job. Okay, that kid, because the white supremacist group gave him purpose and all that. He had a change of heart because several times Tommy Lee whooped his ass, and several times Tommy Lee could have killed him, but he didn't. Right, so I guess that's why he had a change of heart. And so he kills a white supremacist leader. He puts the gun down. You know, he smiles because, you know, he's had a change of heart. All these white supremacists, they just had a change of heart. You know, when he didn't kill that guy, They had a change of heart. You know what I mean? So anyway, he walks away, and then there we go, and the movie's over. And I was thinking to myself, all those white supremacist motherfuckers were like just standing around. They were cheering and yelling white power. Okay, when that one guy, the one that got shot at the end, the new leader or whatever, was beating the shit out of the black preacher with a baseball bat. They should all be in prison. Like what? The movie just ends there. That's it. Oh well, they had to change their heart. Okay. Like, what? No, obviously it's a martial arts movie, so it's just. But anyway, that's the movie. That's best of the best part 3. I'm just like, okay, it's all right. I guess he hooked up with that teacher in the end. I don't know, but that was it. That's best of the best part 3. That's a rundown. I don't know if anybody have watched that movie, but that's the movie. Let me something up really quick. I'm confused as to why they picked that plot. They could have done so many things with a skilled martial artist that, I don't know. It seems so off from the original script, and this happens a lot with a lot of these martial arts movies. It's kind of weird. I don't know if you guys have watched it now, but let me go ahead and I'm gonna read some comments really quick. Mr. Natty Turner, I hate those movies. Best of the Best is a horrible trilogy. Well, this third one is terrible, but I don't know. I like the first 2 movies. Ben Omar, laughing my ass off. You're reviewing Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. I know you an 80s baby. Do Double Impact, straight classic. I haven't watched them in a while. I'm gonna start watching some martial arts movies to kind of review them, but I'm kind of scared to, man, because it's all nostalgia. So, when you go back and you watch a movie, and you're like, fuck, this movie's nowhere near as good as I thought. Mr. Natty Turner, fantasy mashup, Ralph Macchio versus Eric Roberts in a fight to the death. Daddy man, I don't care what anyone says. Best of the Best Part 1 and 2 are 2 of my favorite martial arts movies. I'm with you. Ben Omar, the best martial arts movie of all time is Bloodsport. Fuck what anyone thought. Hey, Bloodsport's that's a badass movie, man. I watched Bloodsport like maybe 3 months ago. It was still great. I still love that movie. It's kind of corny when he's like blinded and he starts fighting the dude with no sight. I mean, that's kind of corny, but hey, what are you going to do? Tom Lee has earned a right to challenge. I have accepted. Then, man, Bloodsport has aged terribly. It almost comedic when you watch it now. Plus, making it the black fighter fighting monkey style was unforgivable. I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. I always wondered, like, what style is that? I never heard of that style. Like, the way that dude was fighting. United Turner, Cynthia Rothrock kicks Tommy Lee's ass. Yeah, probably. Well, I agree with some of these comments. Mr. Natty Turner, Kickboxer is a Van Damme movie to watch. Glass shards on the hand wraps. Why did he want like the shit cut off? And he wanted to fight him like with his bare fist. Like, you would think like the glass would make more damage, but they didn't want the open palm. I don't know. Also, Tampo, is that his name? I like how while they're cutting his wraps off, Tampo's walking like super slow towards him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's just taking his sweet ass time, like stalking him from behind. Like bro, seriously. Have you guys watched Best of the Best Part 3? Then the man put, I remember watching Enter the Dragon at such a young age, and I thought Bruce Lee was a bad guy because he was going around killing everyone like some psycho. So my innocent mind must be. He was just going around beating people up. You know, just people just walking around and wow, wow, like just like whooping their asses and shit. I really did like Bloodsport. It's Bloodsport's like they never made a part two, right? Like they left it like it is. They would have done a part two. They would have fucking ruined it. Karate Kid was the best family-friendly martial arts movie. Yeah, I agree with that. Well, guys, that's my review, man, for Best of the Best Part 3. I don't particularly recommend this movie. If you're wanting to watch a martial arts movie, this movie's kind of bad. It's the acting is terrible. It's not that good. Even the fight scenes, they're not that impressive, right? I guess if you want to see white supremacists get their ass whooped constantly, I mean, I guess, but it's just they could have done a lot better, like with these fight scenes. And but you know, what are you gonna do? Speaking of Bruce Lee, which I don't want to get too much into that because I do want to do a whole like video about martial arts movies, but I just, why is it in martial arts movies that dudes, first of all, why do they have to flip backwards and somebody lands a kick? All right, and why, oh why do guys attack one by one? Like, you know, I never got that. I never got that. They kind of stopped that by the early 90s, you know, doing that in martial arts movies. Like if you watch a Jet Li movie or a Jackie Chan, there's still some elements of, it's definitely unrealistic, but you know, it's still realistic. Like they tried to implement more psychology into it. Like, you know, like there's no reason why 10 fuckers are going to surround one guy and attack one by one. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, maybe one guy goes first and then everybody goes. Like, you know what I mean? But it's this idea that one-on-one and then just watch while that one dude gets his ass whooped and then go, like, if you're in a group of 10 people, right? And you just saw one of your buddies get his ass whooped. And like you're just standing there watching, boom, boom, pow, like backflips and this and that, and he made him turn like 360 degrees in the fucking air. Why would you attack that guy by yourself next? Like that makes no sense. You know, it makes no sense. You know, you would, while he's whooping his ass and flipping him in the air, that's when you all attack. You know, I never understood. Right. By the way, I love Jet Li movies. Okay, like Jet Li's that dude. All right. I really, really like Jet Li fight scenes. Like, yes, they're not realistic, but you know, he doesn't do the whole one person attacks him and then another person attacks him, and you know, it's you know, it's just it makes more sense. Like, you know, the way he does it, and a lot more creative. He's a lot more creative than what I saw in this movie. They did make a Kickboxer 2 remake, says Mr. Manager. I know. But and like you said, Van Damme was not in it. Did that character die, or was it supposed to be the same character? Like, I never understood that. Like, I never quite got that. But then the man says he's not a Jet Li fan. Well, are you a Jackie Chan fan? Well, I like Jet Li in the old school epic movies. I don't like him in the modern films. Well, I don't know. I really like watching Jet Li movies, man. Every time a Jet Li movie comes out, I watch, and if it's on theaters, I'll watch it. You know, every single time. I'll definitely watch that movie. I was never a fan of Jackie Chan, personally. You know, I don't know what it was. Like his facial expression, like like I don't know. Like every time, like it's just when somebody like almost hit him, he would do these expressions, like it's just I don't know. I didn't like it. It's not for me. I love the Rush Hour movies. I really do. But to me, it's a comedy. You know, like it's funny. Like I really like the Rush Hour movies, but just Jackie Chan in general, not a big fan. Right? Did I see Drunken Master? I believe I did. Yes. All right, guys. That's my review. So if you want to check out that movie, knock yourselves out. Right? Like the movie never really addresses what happens in the very beginning. Because the way the movie starts, and this is the last thing I'll say about this Best of the Best Part 3. A crime is committed, right? And you're thinking, well, this crime's got to be solved, right? That's basically what the way the movie starts. You know, it looks like a crime movie, but it turns into just this dude that showed up to visit his sister is beating up a bunch of white supremacists, and yeah, the guy who did it gets killed in the end. But really, in the end, there's really no justice. Like, you know, I mean, like everybody just forgot about the crime. Like, you know, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, is that it? Like, what, the movie's over? What? You know, so I'm just saying. Yeah, they all got killed in the beginning of Kickboxer 2. It was horrible. The Van Damme character died? Did he? I gotta watch Kickboxer Part 2. They all get killed in the beginning of Kickboxer 2. It was horrible. How do they get killed? Like, what is Van Damme like in the movie and he gets killed, or they just show a vehicle or some shit, or what? How do you get killed? I thought it was like the same character, just a different dude. You know, like Rocky's son. You know, I just thought it was like I just thought it was another dude. Like, you know, I gotta watch Kickboxer Part 2. I watched. I think it was Part 3. It's terrible. Kickboxer. I think it was like Part 3. They were like in Hawaii or something. I forgot, but you know, they were somewhere. But it was just terrible. It was just terrible movie. Van Damme is the bad guy. No retreat, no surrender. I don't think I've seen that movie. They all get shot by the criminals when they leave the fight with Tung Po. Okay, so it just kicks off from there, from right after that. Wow. So that's his younger brother? So they had another brother. That's crazy. I don't even know that, to be honest with you. I haven't seen that movie in years, man. Probably 10, 15 years. So that shows you how much I know. Anyway, this is DStyleBoxing. I'm out, guys.